Well, what's up out there, all you fine-looking mamma jammas? Welcome to Fraternize with These Guys podcast. I'm your host, Pastor Pinewood, freezing my ever-loving nays off here in the northern Texas panhandle. And, man, I'd like to welcome via phone the one and only, the best, most awesomest co-host in the history of co-hostiness, Mr. Beezy.
Yes, sir. I'm glad to be here. I mean, we ain't gonna let no stupid ass cold weather keep us from recording, are we?
You might let them know why we're doing this via virtual.
Well, is it virtual? I don't know. I'm honestly, I'm just living vicariously through your ears.
I guess technically that's what all podcasting is, right? Just people living vicariously through somebody else thousands of miles away.
There you go, man.
I spent the predominant amount of 2012, 2013 living through Joe Rogan.
Well, yeah, I didn't even start getting into podcasts until probably 3 or 4 years ago. So.
You only been podcasting, what, 3 years?
About 350.
Well, if you don't know, I wasn't kidding you. It's freaking cold outside right now. I'm sitting in single digits.
Yeah, we are too, I believe. I think it's like 6 or 7.
Yeah, and the high today was 12, I think.
Oh, we actually got to a blistering 19.
Dang, man, tropical heat wave. That 2 hours further south, man, it makes all the difference, doesn't it?
Oh, it does, man. It does.
And I will say that our mascot, Sin Valor, he's not having it at all.
No, I don't blame him one bit. It's been a little bit colder than us West Texas folk care for.
Yep. Sin Valor killed like 6 people just trying to stay warm.
Well, I'd have done the same thing.
Yeah, they shouldn't have been
like
dancing.
A tauntaun. Yeah, I mean, cut them open like a tauntaun and sit in the
belly. So we apologize if the sound's a little bit different, and Beezy's going to try to be heard as much as possible. He's got some doozies of questions today. I heard just a couple of them earlier, and man, we got some great ones. And the reason we're doing this episode kind of like this is because we think it's so cold outside that it's stupid. So what we're doing is we're bringing you episode 11, and we're doing all stupids of the internet.
Yes.
Like the absolute stupidest things we could find.
Yes, and it's going to be stupidly awesome.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. And also, I might add from the previous episode, I'm not calling this episode 11. I'm calling this episode 1T1.
1T1. Okay. Yeah, I like it. I like it.
I think I'll be able to do that for 2 more episodes, and then it'll get really old, and I'll just go back to, the regular teens. But seriously, if it's 21, why is it not 1T1? It doesn't make any sense.
You're preaching to the choir here at this point. You done got me sold on it.
So we scoured the interwebs, and we found the dumbest questions that we could find out there, and we whittled them down to, I think we've got a total of maybe 6, because we had 4, and then we added some bonus. Is that right?
Mm-hmm. That is correct.
So I totally believe that none of these questions are legitimate, but they're all hilarious.
Yeah, these are pretty awesome ones.
Yep, I'm excited.
I hope you guys are ready.
Yeah, I'm ready. Well, I'll tell you what, before we do that, how about we get into our flagship, how about a little libations library?
I love it. Let's do it.
I'm always impressed that you met the note, and there's no waver at all. Like it's perfectly in tune.
Well, I've been given singing lessons for let's see, I'm 36 years old, so I've been doing it for about 39 years.
That's fantastic. What do you charge for a vocal lesson?
If you got to ask, you can't afford it.
That's so 75 cents an hour, something like that.
I mean,
well, normally Mr. Beezy introduces our beer, but because he's virtual via phone, I'm going to go ahead and introduce it. We're drinking today one of our kind of favorites, old school favorites.
Old school favorite, man.
So this is the Blood and Honey from Revolver Brewing. And before I go into what it is, I moved from like the mecca of craft brews in New Mexico and Colorado. Like that's such a great atmosphere for craft brewing. And I moved to the desert armpit of craft brews. And
yes,
my craft brewing around here is essentially Coors Light. Like that's the extent of what I can get. So there's one little gas station that always had Blood and Honey, and because I couldn't handle any of the other stuff, I'd always go get a Blood and Honey. So this beer is kind of near and dear to my heart because it saved me from several nights of struggling through domestic beers.
Yeah, well, it's funny that you say that because for me, the Blood and Honey was kind of my flagship into getting out of the domestic beers and into the craft beer.
That's right.
Higher ABV beers and getting into the world of stouts and porters and really just kind of broke the mold and got me out of Michelob Ultras and Coors Light spit cups.
I didn't know if you wanted me to say the Michelob over the air or not.
Yeah, well, I mean, it is what it is.
It's a dark point. It's a dark point in your history, sir. I had a Michelob not too long ago, and not great.
I hate to say it, but I did too, only because I took the wife out. We went and had a little date night, and they didn't have anything decent on tap. So I was like, you know what? I guess let me just get a Michelob Ultra.
Kind of stick with what you know, right?
Yeah, it was something familiar, and it wasn't Coors Light. And, I shouldn't have done it. I only drank half of it, I'm sad to say, and then I ended up ordering rum and Coke or something.
Nice.
I couldn't do it. It was terrible.
And it's crazy to think because I've seen you drown a case of Michelob.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So
yeah, it was easy to do.
Those are some times we don't talk about.
Yeah.
So also something that we talked about with the Blood and Honey kind of leading up to the episode is I've never purchased one in a bottle, and you say that you've never purchased one in a can.
Yeah, I didn't even know until about 2 or 3 weeks ago. I didn't even know they had it in cans.
That's crazy.
So I've always had it in either the bottle, and we've got a couple of restaurants here that actually have it on tap. And man, if you ever get the opportunity to have it on tap, it's amazing.
I bet it's phenomenal on tap.
Yeah, it's splendid.
And then you schooled me a little bit because I've only had it in cans. I didn't realize it was to be treated kind of like unfiltered Hefeweizen, where you need to actually turn it and mix it a little bit.
You do, yeah. So, and I, like I said, I don't know how it is when it's packaged in cans, but I know in bottles, before you pop the top, you want to kind of gently tip the bottle upside down, and you'll see all the particulates and everything inside just kind of float to the neck, and it just really enhances the flavor.
Interesting. Well, I did it tonight, and we'll see how it changes. So just a couple of things to know about it. This comes from Revolver Brewing, which is located in Texas, in Granbury, Texas, down in that DFW area. You can find them at revolverbrewing.com. And as always, check your local regs. You should be able to order it, but I don't know. Just, y'all figure that out wherever you are. They call it the Blood and Honey. It's an American ale. It has an ABV of 7% and a bitterness unit score of 20, so not bitter at all. And kind of right in the middle of the ABV category that you and I kind of tend to migrate to as far as these beers that we've tried. I think we had one of, not to mention the meads, but the actual ales that we've had. I think we tried an 11. Is that right? Or a 10.5?
I think. Oh, that's a good question. I think it's probably somewhere in that range, 10 or 11-ish.
I can't remember. But anyway, they call this, like I said, an American ale. It's an unfiltered, deep golden ale brewed with malted 2-row barley and wheat. I don't know what two-row barley is, but I'll try to find that out in the future. And
it's when they have 2 rows of barley.
You've
been harvest them at the same time.
How long you been growing barley?
About 10 years. There's bush league stuff. Everybody knows that.
I like how I'm the quote-unquote farmer, and I have no idea what two-row barley is. And then they do finish it with a blood orange peel, Texas honey, and a blend of spices.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I tell you what, let's open one of these bad boys and let's see what it's all about. You ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
Tom T. Hall has ushered us into this, and he likes beer, and I like this beer.
Yeah, you really can't go wrong with it, especially if you're kind of like me, where you've been hovering in the domestics area, and you come across this one. Give it a go, man. It's heavy, but in a different sense from like a stout or a porter. Like there's so many flavors that unpack on this thing.
Agreed. And usually when I read the word ale, it always seems like it comes across to me as it's going to be too light and not enough flavor. But
yeah,
this
thing
one
is jam-packed.
Yeah, it breaks that mold completely. I definitely get the honey. I definitely get the spices, and at the end, I definitely get the orange.
Yep. Yeah. And the spices are what makes this beer probably up there on my list of favorites, just because, and I don't even know what the spices are that they use, but it's tasty.
Yeah, it is.
And
I agree.
whatever it is, you can taste it.
Yep.
I guess I should have done some research on it.
Well, at the end of the day, I think kind of like you and I both are with cigars. At the end of the day, it's good or it's not good. I either like it or I don't. I don't need to get off into all the nuances. I really just want to be satisfied or not. And a lot of people, I think, they don't pick up on all the nuanced stuff that maybe somebody with a refined palate, quote unquote, has. And I think just the advice of, hey, this is great or this is not great. I think that means more than all the ridiculous language they throw around whenever they're tasting this stuff.
Well, what's going to have more weight is where we rank this on our libations library scale.
That's true. And also, we do have the website up.
Yes.
And you have painstakingly gone in and filled out all of the beers we've ranked so far.
Yeah. So as of currently, I've got all the way up through episode 10, and I have your ranking and my ranking, and then we have our MCN ranking, which is, if you followed anything from the beginning, is our McNugget scale.
And that's from episode uno.
Episode uno, yeah. So we've got all the beers with their McNugget scale rating. And I've factored in all the mathematications, and nice. It actually looks pretty legit.
Okay,
so right. not to toot my own horn, but toot.
What is your ranking for this particular beer?
Oh, I'm going with a solid 91 on this one, man.
Really?
It is a flagship on. It's the flagship beer for me. It's one of the go-tos. If I'm ever in a hump where I can't find anything that I just am looking for, I'll go get me a Blood and Honey because it never lets me down.
So it's a go-to.
Oh yeah,
one of those soul beers, one of those comfort beers.
Yeah, it is a comfort beer. If I'm not in the stout or porter mood, it is definitely going to be the Blood and Honey.
It's like the beans and cornbread of beer.
I like that.
I like that too.
Analogy.
That's pretty good. So a 91 from old Beezy. I'm going to give it an 87, and I have to knock it for two reasons. The reason it doesn't have an A is, number one, or actually both reasons are my own personal hangups. If it wasn't for me, it would probably be a 92, 94. However,
Okay.
I've had to drink it for so long because I live in the armpit of beer country that it's old hat to me.
Okay, that's
And that
fair.
it gets a little bit of a knock for that. And also, this is a personal thing, and I hate to throw this out there for everybody to know and understand, but man, the morning after these Blood and Honeys, even if I have one, my intestines do not like it for whatever reason.
So you're saying that tomorrow morning you're going to have a gut issue?
There is a possibility that tomorrow about 7:30, I'm going to wake myself up by passing gas. There's an increased chance of that happening because it's happened before.
That is beautiful.
So I'm going to go with an 87. Beezy's in with a 91. And for all intents and purposes that I can tell, I highly recommend this beer.
Yeah, it's a good one.
So definitely go find it. Go find it.
For sure.
All right, and we will tag them on our Facebook page this coming week. That usually happens on the following Tuesday or so. So be looking out for that. If you missed any of the specifics, you can find it over there on Facebook under our page, FWTG Podcast. And if you have any problems finding that at all, you can just go to the search bar in Facebook and type in Fraternize with These Guys, and hopefully we'll come up. If we don't come up, you can also type in #Plumtrable, and we'll always come up.
We will always come up for that one.
And the reason we always come up is because old Beezy, he made up that word, and we're the only ones so far who have taken that on.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting when you go to Google and you type that in, and we're still the only things that pop up on a search engine.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
Like Google.
Pretty good stuff. And I also want to say that this week's Libations Library is actually brought to us by a sponsor, and a real sponsor.
Ooh.
Yeah, a real one. So I happen to be traveling through a small town in Texas. It's a town called Childress, Texas. And
oh, yeah, I'm familiar with that.
I'm a cigar smoker, and Childress is about 6,000 people. And if you know anything about cigar stores, you don't find them in towns with less than 40 to 50,000 people. There's just not enough of a population to support one of these little stores. But I saw this sign, and it was for Jay's Liquor, and under that sign was a cigar humidor, walk-in cigar humidor. And I thought, oh, come on, it's got to be a gimmick. So I thought, well, I'll stop in and check it out. And sure enough, I got in, and I met this guy that owns Jay's Liquor, and his name's Jeff.
Jay?
Yeah, it really is. I mean, close, Jeff. Really nice guy. And he said... And he legit had a walk-in humidor, a pretty good size one.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I talked to him, and I asked how large the town was, and he said, it's only 6,000, and I bet the reason you're asking that question is you're wondering how I can support this business in this small of a town. And I said, yeah, absolutely.
Well, he's got the liquor attached.
Well, he does have the liquor attached, but he said the reason is he caters to truck drivers because they're going on 287 between Amarillo and Dallas all the time. And so... He said he'd been in business for years and years, and he serves these guys and keeps in stock what they want to smoke. And I was very impressed, and I told him we had this little show, and he bought a sponsorship slot for a cigar cutter that cost him probably $150.
Nice.
So
hey,
not an expensive sponsor.
Hey, you know what? It's a sponsor.
Technically speaking, Jay's Liquor sponsors this show, and I'm pretty confident he's never listened to this show.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably fair to say and goes without question.
It probably is. I'll take it, though.
We will certainly take it. And I hope you plan on bringing that cigar cutter next time we meet up either at the barn or the doghouse to record the next episode.
I sure will. And I'm actually smoking a wonderful Serie V Oliva cigar that he sold me. Great little shop. If you're in Childress, Texas, for whatever reason, you should go in and tell him we said, what's up?
Heck yeah, dude. That's awesome.
Yep. Great to have a sponsor. I tell you what, Mr. Beezy.
Jay's Liquor.
Thank you. How about we go right into 4 questions?
Let's do it.
4 questions. So this week, because the weather is stupid, we're going to do all stupid questions. And they really are stupid. And I'm going to start it off with, it's not technically one of our 4, but just to show you how ridiculously stupid these questions are, I'll read this one. The question is, how do I ask a question on Yahoo Answers? And make note, this was posted on Yahoo Answers.
Yahoo Answers?
Yes.
That's brilliant.
Yeah. So
I believe the answer would be just like that.
Keep doing what you're doing, right? Just keep on trucking, son.
Just keep on keeping on.
Apparently, you got it down.
I mean, you seem to be having your ducks in a row because you're able to get this one post.
At the very least, they're on the same pond.
Now, if they're having issues like we are with these rolling blackouts,
oh, that's a good point.
Then maybe the question was stunted to where it was, how do I ask questions on Yahoo Answers with no internet? And then the internet went out.
Ooh.
Oh. So maybe he never had time to finish the question.
Does that change anything?
No, not really. Because he still submitted it. So I guess technically it doesn't really matter.
We got some good ones this week. So I'm going to start.
Yeah.
And then speaking of that particular thing on that rolling blackouts, I have a rant that I'm going to go on, just a small rant in our update segment that's coming up here in a bit.
Beauty.
All right.
I'm looking forward to it already.
My first question is for everybody to enjoy in, but I'm going to ask Beezy, what would happen if I hired 2 private investigators to follow each other? I'm not sure if you laughed or had a bowel movement. What was that?
I did both. I Charlotte laughed. So, I mean, the obvious answer, you're going to hire 2 of them to investigate each other to see which one does the better job.
Interesting.
Because you want to hire the person that does the best investigating. I mean, duh. I mean, it's elementary, my dear Watson.
What if? So the question is, what would happen if I hired them to follow each other? Wouldn't they just follow each other? Wouldn't that be what happened?
They would be stuck in a perpetual loop, and then the world implodes.
I would say that's awesome. I would say the first one to figure out that you've hired both of them to follow each other is the better investigator, and that's the one you go with.
Yes. So, I mean, this might actually turn out to be a decently asked question.
It really might, and we're going to see on one of our other questions that as stupid as the questions are, they actually reveal some truths behind them, and maybe if you're wondering which one to hire, this is like the preliminary test. If you whittle it down to 2 or maybe 3 or 4, and you hire them all to follow each other, then you just wait for the first one to figure it out.
The victor goes the spoils.
Congratulations for figuring this out. I'm going to hire you to follow somebody else.
That was just the prelims. Congratulations.
That's right. This is a playoff situation. So maybe you start with like the college football playoff, and you have like 8, and you pair them up with the highest seed versus the lowest seed, and then you just whittle it down.
Nice.
And maybe you got some of these small town private investigators that don't get into the big leagues very often, but they got a shot. They at least have a chance. They could be like Appalachian State beating Michigan.
Appalachian.
Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize for all of our Appalachian members out there. But I think
let's be honest. I still look at the analytics, and we don't have anybody in Appalachia.
Wow. That's messed up, man. Maybe it's because they don't have the interwebs.
That could be. They've been dealing with rolling blackouts that are constant.
But, that's funny. That That just dawned on me what you're saying.
There you go. There you go. Don't worry, baby bird. I'll feed you.
I appreciate that. I really do. Maybe the folks in Appalachia can't help us with the analytics, but they could help us learn some moonshine techniques.
Yeah.
And
they could.
I'm all for that.
Yeah, me too.
Now, I don't really even want to make it that much. I want them to send us some.
Hey, we'll review it.
We totally will.
We will put that in Libations Library show.
400 chicken McNuggets, all on the scale. All right.
Easy.
That's a good first introductory question. What do you got?
All right. Well, this one's going to be a little bit of a brain teaser, so brace yourself.
Okay.
Okay. Does it take 18 months for twins to be born, or just 9?
Oh, that's good. You know what's funny is they don't specify if it's human or not.
Ooh. I don't think it matters. Well, in order for it to be twins, they have to be born at or around the same time, like sequentially.
Okay. All right. But
I believe I've only been delivering babies for about 3 weeks, so I'm not 100%.
How many babies have
I haven't. Oh, go ahead.
How many babies have you got down the chute in those 10 weeks or whatever you said it was?
3 weeks, about 700, but none of them have been twins.
Okay.
I still have another 9 months to go for the twins to come out.
So basically what you're saying is you can't say definitively by your own hands-on training and experience that twins necessarily do or do not take longer than a regular one single baby.
Well, to be fair, it could. It very well could. But
I mean, all we got to go on is book learnings, and who knows who wrote the books? I don't know if we can trust them. They were probably written by Obama or something.
Well, I can't give you any medical advice because of my hypocritical oath. So
I don't think that's the way you pronounce that, sir.
I wrote it. So that's exactly how it.
Did you go back to the Hellenistic period before Christ and write that down?
Yeah.
That's impressive, man. You've been time traveling for hundreds of years?
Well, no, only 3 weeks. But, I mean, that's the same time I started delivering babies.
Nice.
I mean, it goes hand in hand.
It does. Well, it got my creative juices flowing a little bit. So I did a little research, and actually, there's a list that I found of the gestation periods for mammals. Are you ready for this?
Uh-huh.
Okay, so we'll start with humans, of course, is 9 months.
Sure.
And I only found this in days, so you'll have to do a little mathematizing. So the common donkey, takes 365 days to gestate their offspring.
So that's 1 year.
That's a year, man. A full year of being pregnant. And if you think that's crazy, a giraffe and a rhinoceros take up to 450 days.
Oh my God! So that's like 1 year minus 90 or plus 95 days.
Hey man, good job.
So, I mean, you're looking at 1 year, 3 months, and 5 days.
Wow,
man! Just off the top of my head,
that's pretty impressive. And to be fair, I did not give you this information beforehand. You're doing that right off the old noggins.
Yeah, off the cuff. That's
all
why
right.
I'm so good at Thinky Blinders.
I'll give you the rank number 1. It's the African elephant. It takes 600.
I knew it.
645 days.
645 days. So that's probably going to be shy less of 2 years.
Yeah. Can you imagine people griping and complaining about being in labor for a couple of days, and the poor African elephant out there is birthing in almost 2 years?
I know when my wife was pregnant.
Easy now. Easy.
She was ready to get that baby out.
But like what, month 3?
Yeah.
Like, get this thing out of me.
First trimester. Like, all right. How much longer do we got on there? Are we there yet? No, baby, we're not. Just sit in the back seat.
Just sit in the back seat. And for all of that time, she almost experienced how horrible it was as a man having a cold. I mean, she almost got there.
Oh, my God. I know. I'm so close. So close. Still not quite, though.
Not quite.
I mean,
so the ruling...
Let's be honest.
That's it.
Yeah, let's be honest.
Oh,
I mean,
okay, all
it's
right.
just not quite up to par with having a cold as a man.
Yep, it is close. It is close. So the ruling on the field is 9 months for a single or a double.
Yes. Well, I mean, 9 months, give or take a few to 15 minutes.
Oh, nice. You're really dialing it in there.
Bro, I told you I've been delivering babies. That's what I read in the textbook.
All right. Question number, what are we on? Question number 3.
4.
Is it 3?
Well, dude, I don't even know.
I'll tell you what.
You said the first one didn't count, so we'll call this one 4.
We're doing a list of stupid questions. I'm not going to keep count.
Fair enough.
This one's a good one, and Sin Valor will be happy with this one, depending on your answer.
Uh-oh.
Question is, if I shave my golden retriever like a lion, will the other dogs respect him more?
Of course.
I don't see how they couldn't.
Why wouldn't they? I mean, you've seen Simba, Lion King.
Yeah.
I mean, you just got to hoist that puppy up, and then game on. He eat everything the light touches.
What if your golden retriever's like 90 pounds? Do you still have to hoist him up like that?
Well, you can use a cherry picker.
Oh, okay. All right. Either that or we get us one of those, whatever monkey critter that thing is that hoists him up. Maybe he's got that ridiculous monkey strength.
There you go, man. Shave it like a lion.
Can you imagine?
Now, I've seen this done.
Really?
I've seen this done with, oh gosh, what is that breed? I think it's a Pomeranian.
Oh, like a little dude.
Oh, yeah.
It's like a little Simba cut.
And like a little bit Simba. you know Simba.
I tell you what, with my little skinny arms, I could probably lift the Pomeranian like Simba into the sun's rays.
Maybe.
And I could probably have you sing behind me and it still work.
I
wish we had video because I'm totally holding my hands up in the air right now with a fake Pomeranian that's shaved like a lion.
Oh, it's beautiful.
It is beautiful.
That is beautiful.
So there's this old story I heard one time about this kid who's always lying, and his dad's sick and tired of it, right? And he's had it up to his ears with this kid lying all the time. And a couple days go by, he hadn't heard anything, and the kid hadn't lied in a while, and he comes running in the door, and he said, "Dad, there's a lion in the yard. There's a lion in the yard." And he looks outside, and he sees that it's the neighbor's dog that had just been shaved, and it looks like a lion. And he grabs the kid, and he whoops him a couple of times, and he said, "I want you to go to your room, and I want you to think and pray about you lying all the time." And the kid goes up there, and he starts praying to God, and comes down after about 30 minutes, and the dad says, "Well, did you get right with the Lord? Did you come to conclusion that you shouldn't lie anymore?" The kid kind of got a flippant attitude, and he said, "Yeah, the first time Jesus told me the first time he saw that dog, he thought it was a lion too." Kind of a ridiculous pastor joke, but it still plays. Plays.
I mean, it felt good. Rolled off the tongue a little bit.
I liked it. And if I had a golden retriever, I might do this just to do it.
Just to do it, yeah.
I mean, if it's in the summer, he's gonna feel good.
Oh yeah,
I'm gonna feel good because it's hilarious. I think it's a win-win.
Take it for a walk in the crowded dog park.
Yes.
Oh, dude, you have to. You have to.
Now, sub question.
Okay.
What do you think most of the dogs that we have would do if they actually did see a lion?
Oh, they would fight it. You know they would.
Your Basset would fight the lion if she saw it?
My Basset's not going to fight anything.
Well, that's my point. what would most of our Americanized, the standard poodle that Susan has at the end of the street? They're not going to be able to do anything against a lion.
No, they're cannon fodder, bro.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. They're an evening snack, not even a meal.
Mm-hmm.
So I think.
Oh, that's funny.
I think the answer to the question is shave him.
Shave it
And prance
At least
that
you'll
dude
get some
around.
good luck. Yeah. No kidding.
You think if you shave your dog, you get good luck?
Yeah. Well, I wanted to say good looks, but fat tongue.
It happens. It happens to the best of us.
Not only am I comfortable, but so is my tongue.
Well, Sin Valor is certainly happy about being shaved into a lion. What do you got for the next question?
So, where do lost socks go when they go missing?
Oh, God.
I'm pretty sure your dryer eats them.
I think there's got to be like dryer gnomes.
Well, I will say, especially if you have children, to check, and if you have one of those high efficiency washers and dryers, you can check in the water caps down at the bottom, because sometimes them socks can get sucked in there in the washing machine. Yeah, and they can actually clog the filter, so you just pull it out and dump it out. I mean, that's actually documented.
What kind
that has happened.
What kind of Jetsons washing machine do you have, bro?
Oh man, I mean, if you got to ask, you can't afford it.
Apparently not. My washing machine is my wife outside with one of those racks that she's just working those clothes up.
Yeah, I've seen that one. I know exactly how your washing goes.
She's got that handheld wringer out there. She just churning.
She cracks the whip and makes you do that, bro.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But we do save electricity, some money on the electricity. I will say that.
Like 25 cents a year.
Totally worth it.
Oh man, but no, for reals, socks can get stuck in the washing machines and in the dryers. Like if you were to accidentally forget to put your lint filter back in, on the dryer, socks can easily get sent down there and then cause some pretty big issues.
So you're going to stick with no metaphysical explanation or phenomenon. You're just going to go with totally rational explanations.
Oh, no. I'm just giving you the documented stuff. I haven't even got into the other stuff.
Well, give me those conspiracy theories, bro.
Because, I mean, everybody knows aliens take them.
Oh, snap. I didn't even think about that.
Well, that's why I'm your co-host, bro.
Maybe that's why they're hovering around all the time, because they're secretly trying to just steal our socks. Maybe that's their currency, and we're like the sock mining expedition.
So instead of data mining or for cryptocurrency, they're
no Bitcoin mining. They're just harvesting socks.
Sock mining. Oh yeah, we might be on something there.
We might be. I think we need to send an email to Alex Jones.
Oh man, he'd have a field day with that one.
Yeah, he would. And then probably like their socks that they normally get are kind of like your regular everyday socks, and then every once in a while they'll get one of my $30 hunting wool socks, and they're like, freaking score wool sock.
Oh yeah,
it's like $5,000.
I'd be devastated if my wool socks went missing, because they did for a while, and I just couldn't find them because I'm an idiot. But,
yes, please. By the way, since we're on that, please share that story, because that is hilarious.
So when we went, I guess it was last week, we went fishing. Went to Lake Fork, and I've been hunting and about a month before, and I could not for the life of me find my stupid pair of wool socks. And I got to digging around and just could not find them, getting ready for the Lake Fork trip. Well, I opened up my drawer and they were at the bottom of the drawer.
Nice.
Because I'd washed it, and I'm just that dumb. And I was just assumed that aliens had taken it. and bought a new spaceship upgrade or something.
Yeah, because they're worth that much.
Yeah, they are. Well, I tell you, the cash cow is if they can hit the middle America household with like a 40 to 45-year-old dad, and he has those knee-high white socks.
Man, that's got to be like, I tell you what, instead of just harvesting money, like currency, they're actually harvesting collectible coin socks. And those are like the Morgan silver dollars to the aliens.
Speaking of, I carry a silver dollar.
I was not expecting that, bro. That's freaking funny.
I think you, me, and Dave are the only ones that are going to catch that one.
That's hilarious. One of these days we'll have to explain that story. That's really funny.
Oh yeah, that's good stuff.
Oh my gracious.
Well,
okay, so aliens.
This for the death. So aliens.
All right. I've got a little bit different take.
Oh, okay.
Mine's a little more sinister.
Ooh.
I think that Christians over spiritualize things sometimes, and we find demons under every rock. So everything that bad happens in our lives, it's because of the devil or the demons, right? And we always try to kind of push that away from ourselves, and it's somebody else's fault. But I do think there are some demons in our lives that just cause us minor inconveniences, like
a Loki.
Kind of. Yeah, I'm
just like a trickster.
Yes, yeah, exactly. I'm pretty sure right now outside in your vehicle there's a demon of water pumps just going to town on your water pump in your truck. And,
couldn't be the fact that it's 2 degrees outside.
Well, he's moving a little slower than normal, but he's still whacking it.
Fair enough.
And there will come a time we're
going to choose that selection of words.
Well, he's a demon. I mean, he doesn't have any morals or anything. But you're going to go out there at some point. You're going to try to start your truck, and it's not going to start because the water demon. The water pump demon, he's wreaked havoc on your water pump, and you have to replace it. It's just the little bitty inconveniences that they can work into your life. And
really ruin your day.
I think there's a demon of socks that just steals them out of the dryer, and you're like, what the heck? How do I have 13 single socks with no matches? And it's because of the sock demon.
Okay.
Pretty sure.
Sock demon.
Pretty sure that was an episode of Buffy.
Oh my gosh. Oh, you're killing me with that one, bro. It would be an episode.
Yeah, I don't think it is, but it should have been.
Then it should have definitely been on Buffy.
All right, I think we've beat that question to death. What do you got? You got anything else?
Actually, I do, and it kind of plays off of the one I said first about the twins.
Oh, interesting.
It has to do with babies.
Ah.
And we'll make this one our final question because it's a doozy.
Okay.
And I'm pretty sure you have done some extensive research into this.
Uh-oh.
Do babies poop in the womb?
Okay. All right. So this question, this was listed as one of the top 30 dumbest questions on the interwebs from 2017. So in the year of 2017, these people compiled the dumbest questions, and I think there was 30. And this made it onto the list. Now, at face value, this is a dumb question, right? Right? It's a dumb question to me. Because at face value...
I'm a man of science, so yes. I understand the question.
The first time you hear it, you're like, well, of course not. Babies have the umbilical cord, and they give and they take from the umbilical cord, right? I mean, it makes perfect sense.
Sure.
But my retarded mind... Can I say retarded? I said it. Whatever.
I don't think we're allowed to. But
we have to edit that out.
So, nah.
Okay, I'll tell you what.
Censorship.
My mind, after eating 413 chicken McNuggets,
there you go,
immediately went to, well, do they?
Do they?
And so I Googled it, and it turns out that they do. Or at least it's possible. So what I found in my vast research on this topic, and by
your Google sleuthing?
Yes, my NSA agent that's looking over my Google search history, he's mortified at some of these things. But I did find sometimes unborn babies actually do poop in the womb, and they pass a substance called meconium, and it goes straight into the fluid that's in the. I'm lost on terms here. It goes into the amniotic fluid. And not only that, they can poop in the fluid, and also they could possibly ingest it. So it's a kickback all the way to our very first episode.
Wow.
Because
they're making human poop bouillon.
They really are in the womb. Like, their first act as a human being in the womb is to make poop bouillon.
That's hilarious.
And it answers the question for us from the very first episode, because it does have health consequences. It's not healthy for them. And you might be asking, what is it made up of? And it's made up of fluids, intestinal cells, mucus, bile, water, and lanugo. And of course, that led me to ask what
that is. Isn't that what the Lemurians try to harvest?
The first thing I thought of was that's a character from The Mandalorian. That was my first thought. But it turns out lanugo is actually the hair that grows on the fetus during the early stages of development. Apparently that stuff sheds off, and they ingest it and then digest it and then ingest the digestion.
What?
Yes. Yes.
Oh my gosh.
As ridiculous as the question is, the answer is quite fascinating.
So that question literally did not deserve to be in the 30 stupidest questions of 2017.
Not really. It actually deserves some, a little bit of scientific sleuthing out to figure out what's going on.
I tell you what you should have done. Prior to your Google sleuthing, you should have hired a couple of private detectives to see which one got the information for you first.
It'd be funny if the top-seeded private investigator was like, "That's a dumb question. I'll have to answer that." And then Appalachian State was like, "Oh heck no, man! There's more to it than this." And then they got me all the information. I'll be like, "Freaking won! They advanced to the semifinals." Who would have thunk it?
Oh, that's hilarious.
That's good stuff. How about we get out of this ridiculousness and go into Thinky Blinders?
Enough stupid questions. I hope y'all enjoyed that. Let's get into Thinky Blinders.
Thinky Blinders. I know both of us have some pretty good Thinky Blinders. I don't know if it tops the baby poop in the womb, though.
Man, I would have had to dig back into my textbooks, my medical textbooks and journals to find the answers for that one, and I just don't have the time for that.
Well, fair enough. Fair enough. What do you got for Thinky Blinders?
Okay, brother. Prepare. Was math created or discovered?
That's a good question. So I think on the front, mathematical truths are evident in the world around us. So in that sense, we have discovered those mathematical truths. For instance, the proverbial apple falling and hitting Newton on the head. Okay, that's an equational truth that he discovered. He did not invent that.
Mm-hmm.
However, we have placed, what's the word I'm looking for? We have placed symbols and quantities on those truths to make sense in our verbiage.
Okay.
So in that sense, we've invented mathematics to explain the natural world.
I like that answer.
So maybe both. It's a recognition of what's going around in the natural world, but we have to quantify it in some way where we can write it down and replicate it. So therefore, we've invented that system, such as chemistry and mathematics, to take care of that.
So what you're saying is math was not created or discovered. Math was created to explain what's been discovered.
Yes. And I would go so far as to say all of the sciences and most of the religions, it's the same principal aim. We view the created world in such a way, and we need to quantify it in some way to explain it to other people. And therefore, science, math, religion, those things are used as a way for us to explain the things that we notice that are going on around us.
Oh, that's a very philosophized answer.
It really is. It really is.
I like that. I wasn't expecting you to come up with something that clever.
Well,
but
sometimes I surprise even myself.
All right. Well,
what would you say? Anything to add to that?
No, I was honestly, my answer to that question was math was created to explain what was discovered.
Oh, that's
because, like you said, I mean, the early mathematicians had to figure out a way to explain what they were noticing, like Newton's third law. Every action deserves an equal and opposite reaction. So in order for him to basically put that into words, he had to create equations.
Right. He had to make it work on paper.
Yes.
So he could take that information and show it to other people so they could extrapolate further knowledge from it.
Exactly.
I like that. And not to do a shameless plug on religion or my other podcast, The Skeptical Zealot, but
go ahead and plug it. I'll allow it.
We deal with that all the time, because you go back to the early stories, like in Genesis. The whole book of Genesis is all these crazy stories, like Abraham taking his son up to sacrifice him and then God stopping him, or God saying, hey, there's your promised land, but you got to go kill a bunch of people to take it. Or Noah, you and your family are safe, but everybody else, they're doomed to die this horrific death in flooding. Well, are those stories literal, or are they figurative to explain things that have happened in the past that maybe we don't have a firm grasp on, but these myths and stories we can pass down from generation to generation can somehow make us connected to the deity that created. And so in the same way that math does it for the things around us that we can physically touch, the tangibles, if you will, religion attempts to do the same thing with the intangible.
Okay.
I think there's a great correlation and parallel to be made there.
Oh, we may have found you a new subject for the Skeptical Zealot.
Yeah, maybe so. And also, we could that could be a future topic on this podcast with the Reverend Reflections, because that's a really interesting take on that.
I agree.
I like it. It sounds smart too.
That's why I picked it.
Well, as wonderful as that Thinky Blinder was, I have a nowhere close to as astute question for you.
There seems to be a theme going on with Thinky Blinders where I'm coming up with some ridiculous, like, intellectual deep thought stuff.
That's true.
And then you're giving me just insane psychobabble. I love it.
Yeah, I
think that their questions are geared exactly towards the person that's answering. So, well done, sir.
Okay, that's a fair point. The question I have for you is one that I hope our listeners chime in with. And
Oh.
the reason I hope that they do is I want to figure out how it corresponds to people's ages. And here's why. So the question is, who was your first celebrity crush?
Oh, man.
And it would be curious to know, because I hate to sell my old man out, but my dad's first celebrity crush that he revealed to me at some point was I Dream of Jeannie, that show. I can't remember her name.
Hilarious.
But that was his first celebrity crush.
Hilarious.
So that would have been, what, the 60s? Late 60s?
Late. Well, dude, I don't know. Early 60s? Late 60s? I know Nick at Night.
Of course. That's how we know about it. But, and she was really cute.
Oh, for sure.
So I could definitely understand that. What was your first celebrity crush? And just for reference point, you were born in what year?
1985.
85. So you're an 80s kid, and you would have kind of hit those ages where that stuff's kind of coming to fruition in the early 90s.
90s, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, my gut response on this one is
Screech from Saved by the Bell. that curly hair just do something for you.
Yeah, rest in peace, by the way.
I know.
Dustin Diamond.
What a drag.
Yeah, but no, in the same field. I mean, Saved by the Bell, probably like Tiffany Amber Thiessen.
Yeah, which one was that?
Was
that Kelly?
Gracious. Yes, Kelly Kapowski.
All right, so the good girl.
Yes.
Yep.
But the more that I think about it, I think the very first one that I can coherently remember was an actress named Mia Sara. She played, and I only remember her from one movie, and this was the movie that I was just like, oh, I love this girl.
Mia Sara.
Mia Sara.
I have no idea.
Or Sarah. Mia Sara. I don't even know how to say it, but it's Sara is her last name. But she was the princess type girl, I guess, from the movie Legend. I don't know. Have you ever seen that one?
No, but
bro.
But that's the girl from Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Is it really?
Yeah, that's the same chica.
Well, I'll be. Yeah, so her.
So I've never heard of that movie. What's it called?
Legend. It's got a stellar cast. I mean, it's Tom Cruise. I mean, how do you go wrong with Tom Cruise?
Okay.
And
this
Tim
is
Curry.
And what? Tim Curry?
Yeah, Tim Curry, and he plays this big demon devil looking guy called the Darkness, and he just had a theme going from like because the movie came out in '85, which is when I was born, but I seen it later in life.
Dang, Tom Cruise before he was crazy.
Yeah, before the Scientology got him, and we're sued.
Where's Leah Remini when you need her?
I know, right?
So Tim Curry, he plays what'd you say, the Darkness?
Yeah, his name is Darkness. But you should Google it, check it out, man.
And this is before Fern Gully, when Tim Curry
when he played the Darkness then, or I forget what it was called in that one, but the same thing. He plays the bad guy.
Wow.
But yeah, I think it was Mia Sara or Mia Sarah, whatever. She was probably, I would have to say, my very first, like, I don't even know what hormonal feelings are, but she'll be my girlfriend.
It piqued your interest, eh?
Most certainly.
All right.
What about you? I'm curious.
I was raised in a home that we had a black and white television in a cabinet style. It had the big TV and a record player inside of it.
Oh wow!
So we didn't have cable till I was well into high school, and so my options were limited. However, I would go to my grandparents' house on the weekends, and I would watch a show called Clarissa Explains It All.
Melissa Joan Hart.
Heck yeah. And man,
Okay.
she did it for me when I was however old that was, 6, 7, 8 years old.
Oh,
yep.
That's hilarious.
Big fan.
Yeah.
Big fan.
Yeah,
and
now she's all about the Hallmark movies.
yeah, she kind of relegated herself to that. And I'll tell you, not a fan of her in Sabrina. I did not like that.
Yeah, Sabrina the Teenage Witch. I forgot they did the TV show with her on that.
They totally did. And however, was a fan of the movie about oh good grief, when she was the warrior lady in France, Joan of Arc.
Joan of Arc.
Yeah, that was a great movie. It was a pretty good flick. But
interesting.
Early on, Clarissa Explains It All, or auxiliary answer for both of us.
Uh-oh.
The Pink Power Ranger.
Oh my God.
I mean, that's our generation. That was like that was every boy's fantasy.
Oh, touche.
And in my mind, I can't even think of what she looked like without the Power Ranger uniform. I think we just knew under all of that garb, she was good looking.
She's just regular old humdrum.
She's a little comely looking under all that.
She dons that Pink Ranger outfit and it's wife material.
That's exactly right, man. All right, well, good. Awesome. And seriously, if you're listening out there and maybe you're older or younger, I'd be very interested to know what your first celebrity crush was. I would also like to know our female audience what your celebrity crush was early on, because I know we've got some older and younger gals who listen.
For sure.
And, that would be very interesting to kind of put that together. And we'll put it in our updates for next week.
Yeah, and so if you guys want to leave us that information, the easiest way to do it, we plugged it a little bit at the beginning, but we'll kind of go a little bit more in depth. So we have our website, www.fwtgpodcast.com. Go there. In the bottom right corner of any page that you go to, you will see a blue circle with a little microphone. You can click on that and you'll be able to send us a voice message. So with that voice message, we can actually log in, upload it, we get an email, and we can listen to it then and put it in the next episode. If you don't feel comfortable doing that, you're more than welcome to get on our mailing list on the website, shoot us an email that way, and we can read it. If that doesn't tickle your fancy, you're more than welcome to hit us up on Instagram or Facebook at FWTG Podcast, or you're able to go into the search bar and type in Fraternize with These Guys. And like you said earlier, if you still can't find it with that, have you tried turning it off and turning it back on?
Thanks, Judy.
But no, you can find us there.
You can basically stand outside on your back porch and just yell really loud, and we'll probably get it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that works still. Send us some smoke signals.
Well, I tell you what, speaking of that, why don't we go right into our news update segment of the episode?
Oh, yeah.
All right.
So we've actually got our second person to send us a voice message.
Hang on. Before you do that, I've got to throw this to you on the fly to see if you can get it done. You ready?
Oh, no.
All right, news update segment. Here we go.
Oh. We got some news updates for you today.
So we were going to record that. Oh, crap. I had it on loop. I'm sorry about that.
Again.
I didn't expect you to hit on the first time, so I figured we'd have to loop it a couple of times. But you did, man. You nailed it.
I told you, I am a champion.
All right. So news updates this week. We do have our second
call in. We got a voice message from a guy named Sean. and he is coming all the way from the beautiful state of New York at Lake George in the Adirondack National Park.
Ironically, it's warmer in New York right now than it is in Texas.
Than it is in Texas, yeah.
All right, you ready to hear it?
Let's do it.
All right.
Just send it.
It is playing, I swear. Maybe. Maybe.
And it's broken.
So, little technical difficulties here. Let me try to refresh the page. We can maybe fix this in post. Here we go, Mr. Sean.
Hey, guys. Enjoying the show.
Thank you, Sean.
In the last episode, episode 10, you had talked about hunting and outdoors.
Yes.
Yep.
And if money and time were not a factor, what big game you would hunt. You both had some really cool choices with red stag from New Zealand and grizzly bears from Kodiak Island. I personally would go a different route. I would want to hunt either Somali pirates or poachers in Africa. I know there are groups that you can join in Africa to hunt poachers and protect the endangered wildlife, and I think that would be really cool.
Is that true?
And for a movie that's outdoorsy that I would recommend would be The Frozen Ground. Based on a true story. Highly recommend it. Check it out. Thanks.
The Frozen?
Yes. Frozen Ground.
Okay, well, we got to dissect that particular call-in because is that a thing? No, okay, the Somali pirates. That's hilarious, right? Like we can all get behind that.
It's brilliant.
Is there legitimately a way you can go and legally hunt poachers?
I have no idea.
We got to get on that, bro.
Because I mean, once we start making some money, we should see if we can get some sponsorship for that.
Poachers.
A poacher hunt. Oh, we could be playing surviving the game for real.
For real, the home game. Holy cow, man. So
I do want to...
Theoretically speaking, you could go to Africa, get on with a bunch of folks that know the land, and you could go hunt people poaching animals.
Yeah, you go poach the hunters that are poaching.
Dang. That's heavy.
Hilarious.
That's heavy, dude.
That is hilarious. Well, it's crazy over there. It's a lawless country.
It literally is the Wild West.
I do want to touch on the Somali pirates. He also sent in an email that tied in with this. And there is a fake website that somebody has created. And we're actually going to post this in the show notes because it's brilliant. But it's www.somalicruises.com. So basically, you can get a cruise liner that will guarantee up to like 2 Somali pirate hunts. It's totally satire, but it's freaking hilarious. And like I said, we'll post this in the show notes because it's brilliant.
That's hilarious.
And thanks a lot, Sean. That was brilliant.
Yeah, and also, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, you go.
I was going to say, I had never heard of that movie.
Oh, yeah.
And how is that possible that I have not heard of a Nicolas Cage movie?
Well, and here's the other thing, too. I did a smidgen of research, and you know who else is in this movie? Is probably your man crush from college days.
Oh, Cusack? Oh, snap, really? I bet you, I don't know anything about it. I haven't looked into it at all. I bet you he plays a weird, creepy bad guy.
Yes, he does. He most certainly does.
So, right. John Cusack, his role is the sad, loner, in-love dude crying in the rain, or the creepy bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
That's his niche. And so, with a fellow actor in the mix, such as Nicolas Cage, I would imagine he's the creepy bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
And this is based on a true story.
Yeah, it's based on Robert the Butcher Baker.
Oh, snap.
He was a serial killer in Alaska that killed for like 13 years.
Holy cow.
Yeah,
if
before
I'm
getting caught.
if I'm not mistaken, our favorite podcaster Dan Cummins on Timesuck actually did an episode devoted to him.
Yeah, I like maybe within the last 2 or 3 months.
That's crazy. And I'm really disappointed that Mr. Cummins didn't turn us on to this movie that's made about the guy.
I know. It's craziness.
It is
crazy.
craziness.
I'm going to have to send that guy a letter.
Wow. All right. So, as promised, I have a rant for our update segment. Sean, thank you so much for sending that. It means a whole bunch to us here, and we thank you for that. And you gave us some information that we weren't expecting and we weren't privy to, so I'm doubly thankful.
And also, if you could, shoot me your contact info on a private message on the website, and I will mail you some FWTG gear just to tell you how much we appreciate you sending in a message, man.
Oh, are you telling me to do that? Do I finally get a koozie?
You do not. No, that's for Sean. Sean alone.
What the heck, man? I've sent in like 3 voice messages.
Again, employees don't count.
God. One of these days, bro. One of these days, I'm getting a koozie.
You know, I tell you what, you come over here and you help me make them, you're more than welcome.
I ain't going to do that.
I figured as much.
That's what we hired the producer for.
Right?
All right. So, as promised, as an update for this segment, I do have a rant. And it's not a pastoral thing. It's not really even a Pinewood thing. It's just this weird personal aggravation at this. So we have this storm that has come through Texas, and it's a bad one, right? I mean, we're looking over a week of sub-freezing temperatures, all the way down into the negative digits. It's cold. It's snowy. The wind's blowing. I mean, it's miserable, right? And it's statewide, and our electric grid couldn't handle all of the input. The rant is not against the governor. It's not against the government, which is surprising for me. It's also not against the utility companies. My rant is against every single middle-aged or older man who has a home, a family, and a child or children. They're quote-unquote responsible adults, and they have not prepared in the slightest for any kind of interruption in their services.
Mm-hmm.
It amazes me how many people are out there that are functioning adults that have no answer for when their electricity goes off. Bro,
I'm gonna pause you real quick.
Why are
because when you said functioning adults, I literally pictured Ben Affleck in
Jay Silent Bob's
saying fictional character.
Functioning adults. Bro.
All right.
I have a word to you. There is going to come a point in your life. It's probably going to happen within the next few months or the year that you're living in. Your electricity, your water, your gas, it's going to get shut off. It's a fact of life. It's going to happen. And you think, well, Pastor, you just got to think positive. I'm positive. It's going to happen. Be prepared, you moron. Go out and buy a Mr. Buddy heater from Walmart for $30 in a couple of those miniature propane tanks. Put inside your house, crack a window, and you'll never freeze to death. Your house will never get that cold. Just do a little bit of pre-thought into this thing called life that you have been so blessed to have. Prepare just a little bit.
Yeah, it has to be done before.
Yeah, if you go try to buy one right now, guess what? They're not there because every idiot runs to Walmart because they were like, oh, we woke up this morning, it's 6 degrees outside and we don't have any electricity. I guess I better go get a heater that can run sans electricity.
Mm-hmm.
Think. Lots of people made fun of me for having 3 months worth of toilet paper squirreled away in my house until you couldn't buy toilet paper in the grocery store. Not laughing so much now.
I have a bidet, so I'm not worried about it.
See, that's smart too. But what happens when your bidet goes out? You got to have backup, man.
I've got towels.
You got to have some of that
And
camping toilet paper we talked about last week.
I've got a lot of T-shirts that have sleeves.
Why is old Beezy always wearing shirts with no sleeves on? Well, he lost power for a couple months and he had to make do.
Why is Beezy still not wearing shirts? Well, it was the winter storm of 2021.
Game time decisions.
Decisions were made. Costs had been had, and there's no longer any T-shirts.
That's what separates Appalachian State from all the other small schools. They are prepared.
Appalachian.
Oh, my bad. Sorry, bro.
You've not said it right once, but
Man.
I forgive you.
What else we got on updates? That's my rant. I apologize if that hurts or hits a little close to home, but come on, folks. Man up just a little bit.
As for updates, man, I think that's probably going to do us. Round it out. We'll, again, Facebook, FWTG Podcast. IG is the same. Website, www.fwtgpodcast.com. We've got a lot of cool stuff there.
Yeah, we do.
And probably the greatest thing about that website is you can leave us a review.
Please.
And it will instantly be uploaded to Apple Podcast. Reviews are literally the lifeblood of podcasts. Without reviews, we don't continue to be able to do this.
So please go do that.
Yeah. If you can do it on your podcast platform, whichever one you listen to us on, do it there. Or just head over to the website. Check it out. I put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into it.
You really have.
And you can do it there. So get on there, check it out, and that's all I got, man. What do you think about a little bit of Ponder This?
Let's end this episode on a good note. I hope you got a good one.
Oh, I do. Ponder This.
Nice.
If two mind readers read each other's minds at the same time, whose mind are they reading?
That's a good one, bro. I feel like that really fits in with the investigators as well.
Yes, it does.
All right.
I liked it.
I like it too. Beezy. Thanks so
Yes,
much,
sir.
man. This is a little bit different.
A little different. I hope listeners are okay with the little sound quality difference.
Me too.
You know what? We're making do with what the weather has dealt us.
Yep. And next week we will be in person in the doghouse.
In the doghouse.
All right. God bless you guys. We will catch you next episode.
Thank you, guys. Love you. So, Reese, what do you think about changing the breed of Sin Valor?
I think Sin Valor deserves to be German.
You know, I mean, he is very Naziist.
A little bit.
Naziistic, I guess. Is that the term?
Oh, I like that. Naziistic.
Naziistic in his beliefs. So maybe he's a breed of its own. Maybe like a German pit.
A pit German.
A pit German?
A German bull.
The bull German?
The bull German.
The bull German dog.
the bull German Naziist dog.
Yes.
All right.
I don't feel like he needs to be our sponsor or our what are we even calling him? Our mascot?
It was a mascot. I don't know if I want a Nazi dog for a mascot.
I know. I mean, maybe we could just shun him.
Maybe.
Then PETA is going to be on our ass.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? PETA kills dogs all the time. Maybe they would kill old Sin Valor if we send him to him.
Well, there you go, dude.
There you go.
Problem. Hey, two birds.
Two birds. German pit, done and done via PETA.
Done and done.
Thanks.
Yeah.